Welcome to Envision Broadcasting, the station designed to encourage, equip, and empower you for growth and success presents The Momentum Shift. A show where we get inspired, we get moving, and we get results. Every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern with your host, Eric Collier. He's the mayor of motivation and mental quicksand expert, bringing you inspiring interviews and empowering stories that will help to improve lives. If you're ready to start making the impossible possible, then you've joined the right show, because the momentum shift is what you've been looking for.
But what really lights me up is helping people, either one-on-one or small group, actually identify what's holding them back and clear it. That's the energy work. And
Yeah.
then help them break those goals down into smaller increments so they can have the success. We look at the end goal and we start racing towards that finish line, and at some point we lose the momentum, like you say, the momentum,
Yeah.
like we lose it, and then we don't get there, and then we're disheartened. And I was at an event a few months ago, and just randomly I said, yeah, I wrote a book a couple of years ago. It was a bestseller on Amazon, and it was reach your goals in 12-minute increments, and I think I should do something with that.
Yeah.
Because I'm somebody who believes that the largest gap an individual will face is the gap that stands between where they are now and what they could become. So the question becomes, are you willing to climb? The greatest trick the mind will ever pull is convincing you that your greatness does not exist. Mama used to say, she said, Eric, what you do in the dark will come out in the light. And she means that you reap what you sow. You get what you put in. And so you got to put the work in. Why? Because you're going to step your game up and tap into that untapped potential of yours and become the greatest person that you can possibly become.
I woke up, I was about to lose everything. And so my wife was about to leave me, and that meant my 3 children were gonna be gone, which really hurt me because I would fall short on a promise to my kids where I told them that I was their father. Nobody would ever be in the house taking care of them. Nobody would be responsible for them. They never had to worry about calling anybody daddy but me. Momentum shift. When you get stuck, you got to find a way to get going. And that is all about elevating your performance. You have to realize that high-level results are not products of low-level effort. So you got to step your game up. So you get stuck, you got to get yourself moving. And when you're down in the dumps, you're the only one that's going to be there. So you got to be your own hype man.
What happens is when you don't realize that you have all that you ever need to create the life that you want to live, you're missing out. You're standing at the base of that mountain thinking and hoping somebody's gonna save you when all you gotta do is take action. Theodore Roosevelt said, he said that the credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena with their face marred in dust with sweat and blood. You got to get into the arena, claim your moment, take the opportunity to take your shot. Then when you're in that arena, think about this. I gotta step my game up.
Eric's message was extremely powerful.
The power of overcoming is not just connected to you. You're rising because the people behind you are counting on you. Thank you. Thank you, Eric.
Hello and welcome to the Momentum Shift, the show designed to get you inspired, get you moving so you can get results. Why? Because we want you to turn the impossible into possible for you. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a guest here today that, first of all, I'm Eric Collier, your host, and the mayor of motivation. I've been thrown off today. We're having a great conversation here with my guest, Jennifer, and if I pronounced it wrong, I apologize, but Takagi.
That's perfect.
Takagi, all right, cool. Jennifer Takagi. And she's an intuitive business coach and energy healer dedicated to guiding entrepreneurs towards clarity, alignment, and holistic success. Her strategies, she empowers her clients to overcome the obstacles, tap into their inner strength, and manifest their vision with confidence and purpose. An individual, she works not only to achieve their business goals, but also experiences profound personal growth and energetic healing. And I probably read that wrong, so I'll let you clarify. I apologize. I can murder some things sometimes, but I can tell you this, Jennifer, you align exactly with what we're talking about on this show. Helping people go from stuck to moving forward to really accomplishing some great things in their life. So thank you for joining me.
Oh, thank you so much. And I don't think you can ever get that kind of stuff wrong. There's just, trying to get through that intro part, and then it's downhill, easy skiing from here.
We're ready to go, ready to rumble. Let's go.
Let's go.
So glad to have you join me. And I'll start like I start every episode. What does momentum shift mean to you, and how has it shifted your life?
So I'm going to say I've had several really big momentum shifts in my life. And with a momentum shift, it is for me stepping into that next great thing that's in complete alignment.
Okay.
And we just talked about Washington, D.C. because of your awesome backdrop there, of your cover there. And I worked for the federal government, and I was at an event, and this woman came out, and I didn't know why I was there. I just was asked to fill in. And if it was Washington, D.C., I worked for the federal government, I always said yes.
Got you.
And I don't know why I'm there, right? So I just go in, and I'm a coach. I don't know what I'm coaching on yet, but I figured it out.
Yeah.
So in the morning, I figure out what we're doing. After lunch, this woman walks out. She's 5 foot nothing, has on like 3-inch stiletto heels, a fitted $2,000 suit, probably. Her hair is perfect. Her makeup is perfect. And I need to get a fake mic so I can do this better. But she walks out in the middle of the room and she goes,
Oh no.
and I went,
No.
are you kidding me? So by
Wow.
the end of her session, I sat there and I thought, if they had given me that handout the night before, I could have done a better job.
Yeah.
And I made a decision in that moment, not fully flushed out or clear. When I grow up, I'm going to be a trainer because I can be much more engaging, share the information better. I could do better than her. And she was probably paid, $10,000 for that 2-hour training session.
Got you.
And I thought I can do better. And that was a real shift in my momentum, because working for the federal government, like at some point it becomes, when can I retire? When can I get out? And now it shifted for me because I hadn't really had that thought. I was a little bit young to be having that thought. But I decided, oh, when I grow up and leave, I'm going to be a trainer.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, I had an opportunity to train for the federal government, traveling the country for a solid year. And I got really good at it in some really hostile environments.
Okay.
And they said, do you want to relocate? And I was like, nope, I'm out. So I left and I started my own business training. So that was another momentum shift. So it's like just taking that next big leap of faith, that next step. And then I started doing that and made another leap. And now I'm an energy healer. So it's just taking that next thing that feels really good.
Yeah. I mean, it's what you hear the phrase all the time, ride the wave. I mean, when you get the momentum going after being stuck for so long, you get the momentum going, you just want to keep that going. The adrenaline, the dopamine, you want to keep it going and
Yep.
keep some achievements going. You want to keep hitting whatever ceilings next and breaking through it, hitting whatever ceilings next and breaking through it. So I totally like that. That's life is all about momentum shifts. It's not just one momentum shift, it's multiple momentum shifts. What
It
can
is. And when you talk about hitting that ceiling and crushing through it and moving into the next obstacle and crushing it, I'm a huge proponent of celebrate every victory,
Yeah,
large and small.
right?
And then one day I was introduced to the book Accelerate by Dr. Cotter, and it's on change. And he talks about one of the steps of change is celebrate it and the
Yeah,
little successes. And I was on a special detail in Washington, D.C., and I had no idea what I was doing, but nobody else did either. So that was okay. And in the end, I figured it out, right?
got you.
But every time we made one accomplishment, I literally would run up and down the halls screaming, victory, victory, I declare victory. And
Uh,
somebody would stick their head out of the office because it was dead silent in there.
oh
And
yeah,
they'd go, why is she screaming?
yeah,
And I was like, because we did it. We did an upload and it loaded and it worked. And I think we forget that, as adults, we don't we don't remember our successes, and we also don't celebrate each one. Man, I go into a system, a platform, I upload something and it works. It's time for a 5-minute party.
That's a victory. So I hear you. I'm listening to you. I also heard something that really caught my attention. You're a disc facilitator.
Yep.
And so were you a SIIS? Were you in the I something?
I'm a 96I, and no matter how hard I try, I can't lower it. I'm an 8 in the C for compliance. And I can't raise that. That's the highest I've ever gotten.
Yeah.
And when I was training to become a disc facilitator, I was asked, how did you survive the federal government when you have like almost no compliance in you? Like, for people who don't know, 8 is 8 out of 100.
Yeah.
And like, I'm at an 8. And I said, oh, my I was so high. I wanted the award. I
Yeah.
wanted the accolade. So I figured out how to do it.
You dialed right in that I, huh? You're right on the edge of the Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a high I followed by S and D. All three of those are above the middle mark. So,
Wow.
yeah, my D doesn't come out unless you diss somebody I love, and then I
Yeah.
will come in with nails out.
What is that? Would strike down upon thee.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I fell in the SI
Yep.
on the edge, SI, and with action. Yeah, so that was my unusual trait. I don't know the actual scores in there. I never paid too much attention to that, but I just thought it was hilarious when I start. My first response was like, "Nah, that can't be me." And I start reading things. I'm like, "Oh, that relates. Yeah, that connects."
It's totally me, and I can't undo it.
Yeah. And for those of you who don't know what disc is all about taking a look at the way you operate as a person, your different your personality style. So you've got the dominance, the influencer, you've got the steadiness, and you got the conscientiousness about you. So how you operate in your work environment, your personal setting as a manager. I mean, it's really cool. I like it.
Oh, it's awesome. And the interesting thing is, it's how other people perceive you.
Yeah.
So the interesting thing for me being so high in I, people can look at me as a sleazy salesperson
Yeah.
because I get so excited about it that I just keep hammering it until you agree with me. But once I knew that about myself and that not everybody operates that way,
Yeah.
I can choose to tone it down.
Yeah.
So it's not a matter of one's good, one's bad. It's like, if I'm interacting with somebody that doesn't relate that way, I can tone it down if I choose to.
Yes, exactly. Because you're in control of that.
Yes, exactly. We all are. We have choices.
Yeah. And that's a part of what I like you had a podcast on there and it was about it's not like you reach a point and you stop. It's a continuation of growing. Under construction for life is what I like to say. So I thought that was spot on. I'm like, I got to listen to this one.
I love that. Yeah, it's fun. It's interesting when you learn from other people and then you figure out how to implement that in your life. And that's kind of like what we're all doing, right?
Yeah.
We're taking what resonates and works for us
Yeah.
and moving forward with it. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you moving forward with creating your own business after, a year of being on the road and training and actually training yourself, right? Learning yourself. What were some of the challenges when you decided? Because I want to make sure everybody knows that when you decide to chase your dreams, when you decided to follow your heart, the doors don't open up and everything is like, it's perfect. We'll live happily ever after. It's a struggle, right? What are some of the things that you found yourself struggling with?
Well, I'm going to say, like, kind of in a nutshell, number one, I didn't know what a business coach was until I literally walked out of a Chamber of Commerce event and stepped off a curb and fell into her. Like, it wasn't marked, so I stepped off it.
Uh,
And we exchanged business cards, and then she put me on her email list, and she started having calls, and I started learning things, and I was like, wow, when you have a job, and I worked in private industry for years and then federal government for years, like, you don't need to know these things,
Yeah.
right? You don't need to know what a business coach is. Nobody's ever heard of one, right? Because you
Right.
didn't need that in your career. And so once I hired multiple business coaches, I became very disillusioned because I had invested a lot of money,
Yeah.
and
I
I
heard you say
call
you
it,
were a habitual learner or trainer.
yeah,
Of
yeah,
course.
yeah. Yeah, I am. I'm a habitual learner. I'm like committed to that. But the problem was I would do what they told me to do, and then I would not get the result that was either implied or flat out promised.
Yeah.
And then I was disappointed. And it was like, wait, why didn't that work? Wait, I don't understand. And I was at an event, and every time we broke for whether it was a lunch break or an actual 10 or 15-minute break, we had to take all of our things and come back in and sit with somebody else. So you met everybody in the room,
I
and
like that.
there probably weren't 20 of us, maybe. It was a small mastermind thing. And I sat by this woman and we got to talking. And so we decided to go to dinner because now we can be friends. Okay, lesson one. If you find one thing in common with somebody, you can go to lunch.
Right.
Like, it just has to be one thing. It doesn't have to be big, just one thing. So we had
Exactly.
several things.
Yeah.
So we went to dinner. It was funny because it was Applebee's. So we go to Applebee's, having a beer, having appetizers. And I said, I did all these things and nobody bought. Nobody showed up to my webinar. Nobody bought my course I had recorded. Nobody, like, zero.
Yeah.
And she looked at me, and she hates it when I tell the story. She's like, I didn't say it like that. She very gently, I'll be gentle. She very gently said, Jennifer, you don't have an audience, so nobody's going to buy your stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, wait, we're like so many years into this and so many thousands of dollars, and nobody told me I needed an audience.
Well,
Okay,
yeah.
how do I get one? She goes, a podcast. And I was like, fine, when do we start it? So I started a podcast. It's been really fun. And what's awesome is when somebody randomly says, I caught your podcast last week. It was really great. I learned something really big from it. And I'm like, oh, what? I just sit in my office and talk to myself, and it's beneficial.
Yeah.
Like the positive side of things.
Yeah.
But the hurdles are, and that's when I ended up into energy work and energy healing and helping people get clarity. All the things aren't going to work if that thing is not completely aligned with you
There
and
it
how
is.
you want to show up in the world.
That's it. Yeah. I'm a big believer in connection. And if you don't connect with you first and what it is that you're about and what you love, those things, you can't connect with anything else. And I like that you said that.
Yeah. And that's what was missing. And I still do training for the great state of Oklahoma.
Mhm.
I speak at associations. I've been a keynote speaker. I love that. I will always do that.
Yeah.
But what really lights me up is helping people, either one-on-one or small group, actually identify what's holding them back and clear it. That's the energy work. And
Yeah.
then help them break those goals down into smaller increments so they can have the success. We look at the end goal and we start racing towards that finish line. And at some point we lose the momentum, like you say, the momentum,
Yeah.
like we lose it, and then we don't get there, and then we're disheartened. And I was at an event a few months ago, and just randomly I said, yeah, I wrote a book a couple of years ago. It was a bestseller on Amazon, and it was Reach Your Goals in 12-minute increments. And I think I should do something with that.
Yeah.
And she went, oh my gosh, like, what? So I'm relaunching the book. I'm
Okay.
creating a workbook to go with it because we keep not getting our goals accomplished because we're looking too big.
Yeah.
We need the big vision, we need the big goal, but we need to break it down in little bitty increments that we can do in 12 minutes, and then come back the next day and do another 12. And you'll end up with like 73 hours in a year that you wouldn't have
Right.
done anyway. But you can celebrate each victory. Like, okay, I said I was going to read a self-help book, and I hate to read. I literally heard this the other day. But Jennifer said I could do 12 minutes and that's enough. And I set my timer and I read for 12 minutes. And now I'm halfway through the book because every day I suffer for 12 minutes. I was like, oh my gosh, who knew this was such a deal?
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, because one, you're doing something that you normally don't do, and you're educating yourself. Key is to actually implement it, but you're doing it and you're reading and you're consistent with it and you're getting these victories. So like you said, I want to eat this elephant, but I got to start somewhere that's small because I can't just eat it all in one piece, right? That's the saying, by the way. I'm not trying to eat the elephant.
Oh, exactly. Oh, yes, exactly. And like writing a book is a big deal. A lot of
Yeah.
people want to write books. Mine are short. They're very short because that's what I like. And that's what people like to read. Something
Yeah.
short, something sweet with actionable steps.
Yeah.
And someone was asking me, how would I implement that on writing a book? And I said, well, you could spend 12 minutes just making a list of all the different things you could talk about.
Yeah.
Then you could come back and mark off the ones that aren't fit for like today, right now.
Yeah.
Then you could come back and narrow it down to one. And so, like, just every day making a little progress. And before you know it, you have an outline. Before you know it, you have the first chapter. Before you know it. So
Yeah.
you can get a lot done in really focused short bursts.
Yeah. What's the saying? Inch by inch, it's a cinch.
Oh my gosh. Yes. That is a great one. Yes.
So why 12? Where did 12 come from?
Oh my gosh, so cute. That same conference,
Uh-huh.
I met Jack Canfield, the
He's pretty
founder.
popular.
Huh?
He's pretty popular.
A little bit. Some people don't know who he is, so I have to be clear.
Yeah.
Chicken Soup for the Soul's book
Yeah.
and the book, The Success Principles.
Yes.
And in the Success Principles, he has interviewed and worked with all kinds of successful people and come up with these principles that all successful people embrace and live by. And the first principle is take 100% responsibility for every aspect of your life.
Ooh, yeah.
But if 100% is too hard, try taking 5% responsibility.
Okay.
So I'm reading the book and they have these examples, and it's like, do more of this, do more of that. But the word more is used a lot. And how do you learn something? You agree to teach it, right? And then
There you
you
go.
are forced to learn it. So I agreed to speak at an association luncheon on step 1 on the path to success. Take 100% responsibility for your life. I thought that'll be a fun, easy thing.
Yeah.
But I got completely hung up on what is 5%.
Okay.
Because more doesn't do it for me. I
Yeah.
want a real number. What's 5%?
Right.
So as the more you think about it, and then you walk away, and then the answer comes. And when I worked full time, I typically was home by 5. By 6, my husband and I had figured out dinner.
Right.
And so I pretty much had from 6 to 10 every evening to do whatever I wanted.
Okay.
So if I'm going to take more responsibility for my fitness level,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to take 5% more, 4 hours, I had to get a calculator. 4 hours is 240 minutes times 5% is 12 minutes.
Okay.
So what if I rode my exercise bike for 12 minutes? Right now I'm doing 0.
Yeah.
If I said I'm going to do 30, I could get easily distracted and disheartened, and I don't want to do it. It's too much.
Yeah.
But 12 minutes is doable. So 12 minutes is 5% of 4-hour increments.
Okay.
So
You know what? Oh, I'm sorry.
go ahead.
You know what I like about that is doing 12 minutes. You don't necessarily have to stop at 12. It can start getting good to you. Like, oh man, how much further can I do? How much more can I do? How much more can I read? This is really feeling nice to me today. I'm in a zone, baby. Next thing you know, you did 30.
I have a client, and she texted me yesterday and she said,
Are you feeling stuck, dreaming of a life beyond your current boundaries? I'm Collier, and I've been where you are. Now, as an international speaker, 3-time international best-selling co-author, veteran, and the host of the Momentum Shift podcast and radio show, I've dedicated my life to helping people just like yourself embark on a transformative journey to unlocking your inner greatness. With my wealth of experience and a proven track record, I guide individuals to break through barriers and create life-changing momentum shifts. Having been featured in news and magazine articles, on television shows, and spoken on stages like the National Press Club and Columbia University, my message has inspired people worldwide to turn the impossible into possible. On my show, the Momentum Shift podcast and radio show, I'm committed to sparking a movement that empowers others to shift momentum in their lives, offering motivational insights, interviews, and thought-provoking discussions. If you are ready to redefine what's possible and unlock your potential, then subscribe to my mailing list for exclusive content and updates. Join a community of motivated individuals just like yourself on the path to greatness. Subscribe now and transform your life at CericCollier.com.
I was very cranky today. I didn't want to go to the gym, but I did. And I got on the treadmill for 12 minutes and I did it for 30. And then I went to do weights. I was going to do 12 minutes. I did 30.
All right.
And then I went to a yoga class. So I worked out for an hour and a half today. Thanks a lot, Jennifer. And I was like, you're welcome. You're welcome.
It's overcoming those limitations, those boundaries you set. 12 is a small guideline.
And again, you get started, you can do more. But if you're not feeling it, celebrate the fact that you did the 12.
Yeah.
When you fire up your laptop in the morning, if you have, 20,000 emails in your inbox, like I might have had, then you can spend 12 minutes going through and unsubscribing and deleting.
There we go.
And if you do it every day, finally your inbox is going to be manageable.
There we go.
What do you want to accomplish and how can you break it down? Somebody messaged me the other day and said, I thought it was ridiculous trying to do something in 12 minutes. And my office was kind of like a dump truck of paper had, backed up into my office. And I picked one little corner and I spent 12 minutes on it and I got it completely cleared out. And then I looked and thought, wow, I think tomorrow I'll do 12 more. And she said, I'm slowly but surely getting my office cleaned out.
Oh.
And before you would have said, Saturday, I'm cleaning my office. You wouldn't have done it.
Yes.
I'm just going to do this corner for 12 minutes. Yeah. So that's how that came about.
Yeah. I have to share that with my mom because every time I talk to my mom, what you doing? I'm cleaning my office, Mom.
Set your timer for 12 minutes, Mom, and just do that. But it's the focus time. I know there are studies that say when you quit doing something and come back to it, that it takes so long to get back into it. I'm not going to dispute those studies, but I'm going to say the clients I've worked with have gotten more done by doing 100% focused work for 12 minutes and moving on to the next thing for 12 minutes than they were doing before because their blocks of time were too great and they got too easily distracted.
We can call that like the HIIT workout of focus.
Yeah.
High intense focus for 12 minutes, take a break and come back at it.
Yeah. And either keep on the same thing or the next thing.
Yeah. So I have to ask, so you're married. How long you been married?
31 years.
31 years. So married when this all started, when you started when you left your job and you started coaching and then started your own business? I can't talk.
Yes, I got married and I already worked for the federal government and then I left the federal government and now I'm doing this.
So I'm setting this up because there's somebody out there who's married, they have a significant other, what have you, and they're wanting to do this, but there's a struggle. The significant other isn't buying in. What kind of advice would you give them?
Well, I was very fortunate because when I did leave the government, I did have a small pension. Okay. So I didn't go from a nice income to 100% of zero, right? So that was not it.
Right.
So that made it a little bit easier, a little more palatable. But I think one thing that I've been seeing a lot of conversation in the last year with some women quite a bit younger than me, and they're married and possibly have children, and they end up on these personal development journeys, whether it's a spiritual one or just personal development or do better, blah, blah, blah. And they become very disgruntled because their spouse is not embracing and doing the same type journey.
Yeah.
And I'm hearing these young ladies, I say young ladies, they're in their 30s and 40s. I might be a little older than that. And
I doubt it.
I'm hearing them say this, and I'm thinking, it's okay that I've been on a spiritual journey and my husband hasn't,
Yeah.
because I get support elsewhere. Like, ooh, this is a struggle, it's hard. And somebody in a group I'm in or learning the same lessons will be like, oh, it'll be okay, you can get by. But they're like, I'm gonna get a divorce because my husband isn't maturing as quickly as I am. Like on a journey of enlightenment or whatever.
Gotcha.
And it scares me a lot because my husband's journey is his own.
Right.
And if I act better and do better, in the end, our relationship will be better, whether he changes or not.
There we go.
Right? Because I'm going to interact with him differently.
Yeah.
Sometimes I show up as a really polished professional and I, am emotionally intelligent and I do well. Other times I fail miserably and he's like, I thought you were better. And I'm like, yeah, no, not today. Not today. I'm not better. But I think one of the things is not expecting them to get it, especially if they haven't done it.
Yeah.
I was at my very first conference, and it was actually held here in Oklahoma City. There were 200 women there, mostly women. There were a couple of men here and there, but it was mostly women. And I'm going to forget her name, but she was on the ABC Steals and Deals show on a morning TV show.
Okay.
I can't remember her name. People had come up and asked questions of a panel before she got on stage saying, what do I do? My husband doesn't support me, or my significant other, and I want to be supported. And one piece of advice was, if you're treating your business like a hobby, how do you expect anyone to take you seriously?
Yeah.
And that was like, wow, slap in the face.
Right.
Then this gal got on, Tori is her name, Tori Johnson, I believe. And she said, hey, I was, in the back, but I heard the questions. I heard the answers. I agree with all of them. But you're going to shut them up when you walk in with a big fat check.
That's it. Checks make changes, right?
So I'm going to say, yes, I want my husband's support. Yes, we've had a few little run-ins. I mean, nothing earth-shattering or,
Right.
scream and yell about, but
Right.
every now and then. But he sells real estate.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do you really have to show a house every single day? Well, the answer is yes.
Yes.
But like, I thought we were going to play today because I don't have to work today.
Right.
So we all have those things, but you have to put your relationship first. And early in our marriage, we were in some Christian Bible study for couples. And I think the book was called Love is a Choice.
Okay.
And the theme was, you have to wake up every single morning and say, I'm going to love this person and stay with this person, because marriage is not easy.
No.
I'm the youngest of 4. And one day my mom goes, just know not a day went by when all y'all were little that I didn't think, I am going to divorce this man and I'm going to run away and leave those children.
Right. Run away.
She goes, but then we made a pact. Whoever left had to take the kids. So that wasn't going to work for me. My parents were married almost 50. They were married 1 month shy of their 57th anniversary, and they died 12 days apart. That's how
Really?
strong their love was.
Wow. Yeah.
They both had cancer, blah, 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 blah. Another story.
Yeah.
But it was that commitment. And it's like waking up one day, somebody goes, how's Bill? And I said, he drives the boat.
Okay.
And they said, "What does that mean?" And I said, "Well, you know how if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all?" He kind of irritated me this morning, and the nicest thing I can say is he drives the boat and I don't have
That's the
to.
vote. I like it. Say something nice about it and keep it moving. But
Yep, keep
if
going.
you show up in a certain manner, people start treating you differently. And so the whole take my breath. The whole thing is taking control of your life. And whether or not somebody else wants to join in, it's not their business to take care of you. It's your job to do it, right? You're the most important person. I like to say you're the most important piece in your life's puzzle.
That's true.
Yeah. So
That's true. And you can't, it's very dangerous. I'm going to put it that way. It's very dangerous to expect someone else to hold you up while you are on this entrepreneurial path.
yeah,
Number one. And number two, your support may not need to come from your inner circle of your immediate family.
yeah.
Um, I like to tell the story on visualization and visioning. I have a sister, one of my sisters is 3 years older than me. So when we were little, we'd be laying on the grass looking at the clouds, and I'd say, "Look, there's an elephant. Do you see the elephant?" And she'd say, "There's not an elephant." And I was like, "Yeah, it's right there. See the elephant?" And she'd say, "Jennifer, there's not an elephant." And then the wind would come. I'm in Oklahoma. The wind comes sweeping down the plains, and the
Right.
cloud's gone anyway. So I can quit arguing because the elephant's gone. It's the same way with your vision for your business.
hmm
Your vision is your own, and other people can't see it.
It wasn't given to them. Yeah.
It's yours, it's not theirs. Once you have that check, everybody's going to see it.
Right.
But until you get to that point, don't let somebody else crush your dream and your vision because they don't get it. Just
Exactly.
understand they don't get it, and that's okay. It was given to you by God, by universe, by your higher self, whatever you want to call it. I call it God. You call it what you want.
Yeah.
It was given to you. It wasn't given to them.
Not even. And all your job is to keep pushing. I like to say every great momentum shift started with the great hype person, and you got to be the hype person to start it. So as long as you're doing that, hey, you just keep it moving. Don't worry about anybody else.
Yep. You wake up in the morning and say, "I'm going to be great today."
Yeah.
At what? I don't really know, but
Yeah.
something's going to happen and I'm going to be great.
Exactly. So
That's that high eye coming out.
that's somewhere else we got to go. So self-talk, right? That's a key. That's a huge one. You've given examples on that a lot. How do you teach that? How do you get yeah, because a lot of people they're like, "No, that's not me. I'm good. I don't talk to myself. I don't hype myself up. I just cool." You know what I mean?
And you know what? It's good. Be cool. That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
So, one thing you can do is you can think about the things you say to yourself throughout a day.
hmm
So, when I mess something up on the computer, I could say, "I'm such an idiot."
Right.
I mean, it could be true, but I could say it. That's not helpful. So the question is, are the things you're saying to yourself helpful or not? So actually in my free gift, 12minutegift.com,
There we go.
there
12
we
minutes.
go.
I like
Dropped
it.
it
12
in.
minutes.
I remembered. One of the things is make a list of the things you say to yourself and then write them in the positive.
Because I'm somebody who believes that the largest gap an individual will face is the gap that stands between where they are now and what they could become. So the question becomes, are you willing to climb? The greatest trick the mind will ever pull is convincing you that your greatness does not exist. Mama used to say, she said, "Eric, what you do in the dark will come out in the light." And she means that you reap what you sow. You get what you put in. And so you got to put the work in. Why? Because you're going to step your game up and tap into that untapped potential of yours and become the greatest person that you can possibly become.
I woke up, I was about to lose everything. And so my wife was about to leave me, and that meant my 3 children were going to be gone, which really hurt me because I would fall short on the promise to my kids. where I told them that I was their father. Nobody would ever be in their house taking care of them. Nobody would be responsible for them. They never had to worry about calling anybody daddy but me. Momentum shift. When you get stuck, you got to find a way to get going. And that is all about elevating your performance. You have to realize that high-level results are not products of low-level effort. So you got to step your game up. So you get stuck, you got to get yourself moving. And when you're down in the dumps, you're the only one that's going to be there. So you got to be your own hype man.
Happens is when you don't realize that you have all that you ever need to create the life that you want to live, you're missing out. You're standing at the base of that mountain thinking and hoping somebody's going to save you when all you got to do is take action. Theodore Roosevelt said, he said that the credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena with their face marred in dust with sweat and blood. You've got to get in the arena, claim your moment, take the opportunity to take your shot. Then when you're in that arena, think about this. I got to step my game up.
Eric's message was extremely powerful.
The power of overcoming is not just connected to you. You're rising because the people behind you are counting on you. Thank you. Thank you, Eric.
So if I say I'm an idiot at computers, which I'm not, but I'm just using it as an example. If I were to say that, what could I turn it into in a positive?
Yeah.
And if it's I'm amazing at computers, that might be too big of a leap.
Okay.
And so then your subconscious and your conscious mind are going, wait, but she's not great at that.
Yeah.
But what if it were, I am willing to learn more about computers, and throwing in the willingness. So some people are scared to be on a podcast. Some people are scared to take the mic and be on stage. That's not me. Thank goodness. I don't really have that problem too much. But if you have it and your thought is, I don't have stage fright, I conquer the stage, I own the stage. If that positive statement doesn't feel true to you, you're not ever going to buy it.
Right.
So you have to make it something that's true. I'm willing to learn to be good on stage.
Yeah.
That kind of feels okay. I can take that. So take the things you do well. The other thing is people don't remember what they did well or their accomplishments.
Yeah.
So youngest of 4, and they would say, we're leaving in 10 minutes. And I didn't know how to tell time. I didn't know what 10 minutes was.
You had to find your socks. One shoe was missing. Oh, you're the baby, right?
Yeah. And we're leaving in 10 minutes. Okay, great. I didn't know what 10 minutes was. And then they'd say, we have to be there by 8 o'clock. I don't know what 8 o'clock is.
Right.
So when I was in 2nd grade and we learned to tell time, I thought I was the cat's meow. I could tell time. And when my mom said we're leaving in 10 minutes, I can't believe I don't have a watch on today. I always have a watch on. I'd say, oh, I know what 10 minutes is. I'll be ready. Winners are on time. Losers are late. I heard that a lot, people. A lot. Winners are on time. Losers are late. Winners
You're
have
late
a
if
full
you're on
tank of
time.
gas.
You're late if you're on time. When you're on time, you're early.
Yeah. Losers are on the side of the road, out of gas. Winners have a full tank. I've never run out of gas in my life. But so like when things get tough, have your list of what you have accomplished.
Yeah.
So one of my simplest things is, I know how to tell time. It doesn't even have to be digital. I can actually read a clock. Like I can.
Right.
I have learned, some people don't. They don't teach it in school anymore. So I guess that's a thing. But like that's a little simple thing. But I was 7 or 8 years old when I learned to read a clock, and I still know how. And I had to learn to tie my shoes to start kindergarten, and I can still tie shoes. So sometimes you have to go back to some really basic things so that you can accept yourself and know that you have accomplished things. I was on a client call one day and she was like, I can't do anything. And I was like, oh my gosh, when did you learn to
yourself that you
read?
can't do anything.
I said, when did you learn to read? And she goes, well, I knew how to read before I went to kindergarten. And I went, can we celebrate that? Like I had to be taught every letter to learn how to read.
Yeah.
And you knew how to read before you got to school. I said, can we just take a minute and celebrate that?
Right.
Like people don't do that. Like
continue to
that's a
build on
small
that.
percentage.
Yeah. You think about the amount of people, and I've been a victim of it myself. you're down on yourself. You fail one time and you don't get back up and you just like, oh, this is the worst thing ever. But you're teaching the child how to ride a bike and you're like, oh, get back on, let's keep going. Get back up, keep walking. Get back up, keep going. That's we have to be like kids every now and then. Look, have that short memory and get back up and try it again. Yeah, it didn't hurt. Dust yourself off, get back in and try it again. But we don't do that a lot, and that's what do you say, fear of failure and then fear of being embarrassed in front of other people. But meanwhile, they're falling and you're falling if you don't try.
Well, let's just talk about the NBA. I have season tickets to the Oklahoma City Thunder.
All right.
And
They're a good
we're
team.
coming back. We're having a good year. We're second in the West right now. And Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, I think, are two that stand out that said, you don't know how many I missed.
Yeah.
You don't know how many free throws I missed, how many 3-pointers I missed. You don't know, like when you look at their amazing records,
Right.
and then they tell you how many times they missed or quote failed.
Yeah.
And we think they're the greatest of the greats. They got up and kept going and kept practicing. You want to be a speaker? You better start speaking. You better apply to get on a podcast so you can work out the kinks, right? Like start somewhere. I think we have two things. Number one, we don't start. And number two, we don't keep that momentum going.
There we go. Oh, I like that. A little chill right there. I like that. So how do you speak on stage, you work with corporate, how do you operate? If I connect with you for support, what are the different ways I can work with you?
Right. So one of my favorite ways is one-on-one. I love one-on-one. And there are two big ways.
Yeah.
And one way is I'm just launching a laser program where you have unlimited support for a year.
Okay.
In 12-minute increments.
I like it. I saw that big smile. I saw that big smile when you started saying it. I said, oh, we're going to 12. I love it.
We're going to 12 because I can quickly and easily help you find your next step. I really kind of have a gift for that. Like, what's your next step to do? Even if I don't really understand what your business is, like I can see bigger pictures. The other thing is I do energy healing.
Right.
And I do emotion code, body code, and belief code. And it is very quick, very easy. We find the trapped emotion that's holding you back. We clear it out. And literally the next day you can move forward. I did a free webinar session one time to demonstrate this for people. And a woman came on and said, I want to make this shift in my business, but I just keep not doing it. Well, she had several trapped emotions around the fear of stepping into that. We identified them, we clear them. This is how you clear them. You set the intention to let it go. We take a deep breath in, we exhale, and it dissipates. It's just gone. If you want it gone.
There we go.
And about 10 days later, she messaged me and said, I did it. It's not perfect, but it's done. I went into Kajabi because that was her platform.
Okay.
I created a website and I launched it. So I did it. And I would not have been able to do that if I hadn't had that session with you to clear it. So sometimes it's knowing what's the next step. And sometimes it's clearing those unseen hurdles.
Yeah. And
I had an unseen
it doesn't have to be
hurdle.
perfect. Like you said, it doesn't have to be perfect.
Just has to be there because nobody else did it. Like she's the only one who can. What is the saying? You be you because everybody else is taken.
There we go. All right. And I like that.
I can't do what she does. We're both energy healers, but I don't do it the same way she does, and she doesn't do it the same way I do. And we attract different people. There's room for all of us. I think that's one of the biggest fallacies.
Yeah.
That there's already somebody doing it. But you're the only one with your stories.
Exactly.
You're the only one with your experiences.
Yeah. Now, all right. Now, so leadership training, you work mostly with women or a combination? How does that work?
I seem to attract mostly women, which is great, but I also work with men.
Okay.
And it depends.
Your husband's the number one client?
Huh?
Husband's the number one client?
Oh my gosh, it's so funny. He's like, maybe. But a good friend of ours was like, I think I want to quit smoking. I'm pretty sure I want to quit smoking. And I said, I can help you with that. Do you want to be live or do you want me just to do it without you? And she goes, oh, just do it without me. And about 10 days later, she called and she goes, when did you start working on me? And I was like, oh, that same night. And she goes, oh, wow. Well, I haven't had a cigarette since. And that
Wow.
was 4th of July and it's now the end of January and she still hasn't
Awesome.
smoked.
Awesome.
You don't even have to participate if you don't want to. So that's one way. I have this year-long thing. Also, we can do one-on-ones for about an hour once a week,
Yeah.
and we can really get in deep on what is holding you back. Sometimes it's physical, emotional, or spiritual, and sometimes it's all combined.
Gotcha.
And so we can do a lot of really amazing healing work, and then the clarity comes. There's a fog that hangs there.
Yes.
And when we clear what's standing in the way, it's like smooth sailing from
Yeah.
there.
You do group sessions as well?
I do some group sessions. I'm being really encouraged to do group, and it's on the horizon.
Oh, cool deal. So what do you got coming up next?
What do I have coming up next? Well, my funnest thing is my 12minutegift.com because that is a series of 3 trainings. They're audio, so you can listen to them while you walk on the treadmill or do
Gotcha.
whatever.
12 minutes.
12 minutes, yeah. Each one's 20, but okay.
You
Not
gotta
12.
cool down.
Yeah, you got to cool down in there. So I have that going on, and I'm getting ready to launch my laser coaching program, which is the year long.
Yeah.
As many as you want, 12 minutes, as long as you did the homework from the time before, you can
Right.
book another one. So I'm
What is it?
excited about that.
Clarity and what was I saw it? Clarity was
Confidence.
confidence and was it purpose?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because what's your purpose? I don't know. People would ask me that. And I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
You tell me what my purpose is and let's move from there. But
Right.
now I you have to take a couple of renditions and run at this entrepreneurial ship till you land where you really want to be for a while.
Yeah.
And it's okay to shift.
Yeah, it is. There we go. But yeah, I interrupted. I'm sorry. But yeah, so I is there anything you'd like to leave the audience with? Is there what is your where can they connect with you?
Yeah, jennifertakagi.com. If you get the 12minutegift.com, then that has my information in there too. Takagi looks bad and sounds bad, but altogether it's not. It's Takagi. And yes, it's Japanese. My husband's
Yeah.
granddad came over from Japan. So
Hey,
I
when
married the name.
when I first read it, I'm a big MotoGP fan. So Takagami is one of my favorites. So when I saw that name, I'm like, oh, that's okay, cool. I'm like, where's the rest?
I order groceries from Target a lot because it's close and I can just pull up and they bring them to the car. And this young man came out and he goes, ma'am, I want to get your name right. And I'm really big into anime. And I think you pronounce it Takagi. Is that right? And I said, yes, it is. And now he comes out to my car and he's like, hi, Mrs. Takagi. I'm like, how are you?
The accomplishment, you got to celebrate that. That's how we
Hey,
celebrate.
man,
Yeah.
usually they'll say, check it out the grocery store. Thank you, Mrs. Jones. Thank you, Mr. Smith.
Right.
Thank you, Jennifer. And I'm like,
Right.
you're welcome.
Takagi, Takagaga.
Yeah, I'm good with it.
They'll
I
mess it
married
up.
the name. It's fine.
Yeah. Well. Again, what are your links again? 12?
12 minute, and it's 12. It's the number 12 gift minute 12minutegift.com.
All right. And your website?
Yeah, Takagi Consulting or Jennifer Takagi. They'll
There
both
we go.
take you there.
All right, cool. Well, I want to thank you for joining me today. You really are a momentum shifter, and I love your story, and I've loved learning a little bit about you. I think it's been great, and just being here, like I said, that when I heard you with the disc facilitator, and then you hear an I mean, you're all in that. I can see it. I love it. So the big smile and everything else. Thank you for your time. Thank you for joining me. I love what you're doing. Keep doing it. Keep pushing because nobody else is going to do it for you. I love it.
Thanks, Eric. And thank you for having me. I appreciate it. It's so much fun. I'm glad I got to know you.
Hey, likewise. I'm always loving to connect. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us for the Momentum Shift, a show designed to get you inspired, get you moving so you can get results. Why? Because we want you to turn the impossible into possible. You can do more now and be able to experience the big changes you're looking for in the future. So today is the day. Get moving. Take care.
Are you feeling stuck, dreaming of a life beyond your current boundaries? I'm Collier, and I've been where you are. Now, as an international speaker, 3-time international best-selling co-author, veteran, and the host of the Momentum Shift podcast and radio show, I've dedicated my life to helping people just like yourself embark on a transformative journey to unlocking your inner greatness. With my wealth of experience and a proven track record, I guide individuals to break through barriers and create life-changing momentum shifts. Having been featured in news and magazine articles, on television shows, and spoken on stages like the National Press Club and Columbia University, my message has inspired people worldwide to turn the impossible into possible. On my show, the Momentum Shift podcast and radio show, I'm committed to sparking a movement that empowers others to shift momentum in their lives, offering motivational insights, interviews, and thought-provoking discussions. If you are ready to redefine what's possible and unlock your potential, then subscribe to my mailing list for exclusive content and updates. Join a community of motivated individuals just like yourself on the path to greatness. Subscribe now and transform your life at CericCollier.com.
Thank you for joining The Momentum Shift, a show bringing you interviews and stories of incredible people to help you get inspired, get moving, and get results to ultimately create the life-changing momentum shift that will improve your life. Join host Eric Collier, the mayor of motivation and mental quicksand expert, every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern for The Momentum Shift, the show and change you've been looking for.